Capricorn, I'm Charlotte from Charlie's Angel Tarot, and this is your yearly reading. I would suggest download it, and then you can keep checking every month when I'm doing the monthly readings if the energies have changed with the reading that I'm going to do for the whole year, and you can compare it. I am Charlie from Charlie's Angel Tarot, and from on YouTube, and Buddy Advice on Facebook, and Charlie Angels Tarot on MeWe. That's a new channel like Facebook. I've got a 6-card tarot row here for the first half of the year and the second half, and on top of that I've got the Lenormand cards as clarifying cards, the 2 runes, one for each half of the year, an angel card and a color card. In January you have the 9 of Swords. You are having sleepless nights perhaps, but this does represent that you are too much in your head. What are you thinking about? What are you pondering about? Don't do that. Get out of that situation. Don't ponder too much. Go and talk to somebody if need be. Perhaps you would like to talk to your sister or your mother or a girlfriend about a situation that's bugging you. Perhaps it might be, if you are a man, it might be your girlfriend, your mother or your sister or your partner. It all depends, but it can also be somebody, because there's no sex attached to the cards. It just represents the energy that is around. So it is a feminine energy you're worrying about. It might be about beauty, it might be about sensuality, it might be about sexuality, it might even be about care or nurturing. And I just remembered, it just came up in me, nurturing is taking care, but it's loving care, tender care, like a mother does, and we don't have that word in Dutch. I think nurturing is such a lovely word. It also sounds so warm. In February we have the World, and you can see here the woman is balancing, and she's found her balance. She's got a good equilibrium, especially with the band, what you call it? I forgot the name now. The band sticks, or like the drumsticks, but she's like a twirler, and she's balancing herself like that. The World card means you're coming to an end of a phase and going into a new one. We've just come into a new phase, a new year, and this is the 2nd month, but perhaps the energies have stagnated at the beginning of the year for you. But this year is a number 3, so what you have sown you will reap. The World card also means what goes round comes round, what comes round goes round, what goes up must come down. And you know, if you've done good, then good, you'll get it back tenfold, and if you've done bad, then it will come back to you in threefold. That is in the witches' world, that's what they say. You might even go on holiday in February, or you might decide to go on holiday to somewhere totally new, or you might even go around the world. And the clarification card is the birds, and the birds, sorry, I should have shown you the birds. The birds are sitting here at a birdhouse, feeding, and that nattering to each other. It might actually mean that somebody has flown the nest, like this one is in flight or taking off. But there's also discussion. It also represents, in the bad scenario or the negative scenario, gossip. So be careful of gossip. I hope you haven't gossiped, because it can travel the world. You know, you might even be flogging or blogging, and it will spread around the world. Perhaps it's a woman that is gossiping. It can be you, it can be somebody else. In March we have the Ace of Fire, the Ace of Staves or Wands. In totally new beginning, it might be to do with work, as it stands for action, it stands for passion, and it stands for logic, passion, logic, creativity. Perhaps you might be making a hobby into a business. But be careful. Sorry, the dog got hold of this, so it's damaged my card. Sorry, if you see that. You've got the snake lying on that. So in other words, it could mean a bad beginning. But forewarned is forearmed. I don't take this as a bad beginning, because the snake is also, you can see the snake back on the doctor's car, is parking label, and you can see it back at the chemist, you can see it back in a medical world. So you might be starting to work in care, because we've got the woman here and she's turned her back to gossip, and she's going into care. Perhaps she might have gone for advice to a woman, or you've gone for advice to a woman to see about a job in the care, and you've flown the coop at your old job, and you feel you can take on the whole world by starting this new job in the medical profession. So that's why you were most probably thinking and sleeping, having sleepless nights in January. You can also see the owl. You know, the swords are also representatives of communication, thinking, learning. So perhaps you've been breaking midnight hours because you've taken a week off with Christmas and New Year, and you're trying to revise very quickly at night because you have to work during the day in order to get that exam. Like the world is in your hands, the world is your oyster. So hopefully you've passed your exams here in February and January. There are courses or schools that have exams in January. Never mind, Cappy, you are going to have good news in March. Perhaps it takes April, because that's the 4th month, and 4th is stability. So you will have good news in April. You might even travel by air in April, but the news is coming thick and fast. Look at the 8 of Staves, they're flying through the air. So perhaps you might have to redo the exam. This is only a scenario, because you didn't pass it in the first instance and you had to redo it, and you're getting good news that you are passing, because you've got the new beginning, the child. The child needs to learn. You've got the bookwork here. Spontaneity, playfulness, and a new beginning, perhaps a birth. Perhaps you might be even learning from, because of nurturing the woman, you might be learning gynecology or midwifery because of birth and children. Wow, I didn't even get this in the Dutch reading. It was totally different in the Dutch reading. I would suggest go to the Dutch reading and see what the storyline I've done there, because it's all hypothetical, of course. Every reading can be like starting up your own business with the Ace of Wands and take care, read the small print if you're signing documents. That goes for everything. But I didn't even think about maternity here, and because there's a lot of women here, you've got 2 here, 1 there, and the baby here, and you've got another woman here. So you know, the first 5 months you've got female energy hanging around you, definitely. And the Ace of Wands sorry, The people of the wands are usually the Sagittarius, the Aries and the Leo, and they're usually people that are anxious to learn, and they use their creativity to learn, and they're very wise people and they're very interesting, but they are very selective in who they go around with, because they don't give themselves enough time to spend with other people, because they love to learn. They're so greedy to learn, anxious. But have a look at your Dutch reading, because they've got undertitling. Sorry, I'm starting to talk about fire signs here now, but we've got a lot of females, and the females are strong, determined women. Then in May we have the Eight of Swords. You are feeling trapped for some reason or other. Perhaps somebody's done you wrong in the beginning with a contract, and you didn't check it out. You just went too fast and you signed that contract too fast because you wanted that beginning, and now you feel trapped. So, you know, be aware of what you are being told, because you might have gone to an advisor, like I said, and you started too quickly, because it was a course that might have started in January or February, and you wanted to get it finished by the end of this year. But you might feel trapped. But I say, you see the chains here around her wrists, but there's no lock. So drop your arms and let the chain fall off, and then take the blindfold off, and then go through the swords. There's enough space to go through the swords. On top of the Eight of Swords you have the anchor. So, you know, you are in a safe place, because the anchor means the safe haven, and it means secure, and that is that. You are at the right place, so drop the chains. You don't have to feel trapped. In June you have the Five of Swords, and that means a battle has been done, but nobody has won. You can all see that the people are very sad, and they're bent over, they're exhausted, because they couldn't fight anymore. Perhaps you might have had an argument with a friend because of the gossip, and it has hurt you, and that's why you feel trapped, because somebody has told untruths. The anchor I also use as hope, faith and love. Perhaps you've lost the faith in yourself. Perhaps you've lost faith in a friend, or in the new beginning. Perhaps you hoped for friendship and love. So this is, that's why you felt trapped in May, and that's why you had to fight a person, and they didn't agree with you, because they do love you. They do reciprocate their love and faith for you. But, you know, don't argue. If you feel trapped and you are in a negative relationship or partnership, take the key. It's the golden key, and unlock that door and go to freedom. You have that power in May and in July. There are better things somewhere else. If you can make your own decisions, you'll be a rich person anyway. In July you have the Nine of Pentacles. This is a lady that knows how to work, knows how to invest, and that's why she's made a lot of money. And she's wealthy now, and she can afford the comforts around her. And you might even have become engaged or got married. So there's two incomes coming in, and you can afford a little bit of luxury. or perhaps you've had an offer of engagement or marriage or the next level in a relationship, and that could be in work because it's the Nine of Pentacles and you're coming to an end of a phase and starting a new one. Like I said, you've got a new one in March, and you have a new one in July, and it could be in April as well, as the child represents a new beginning as well. In August you have the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles is the most slow and steady knight in the tarot deck. He goes for endurance, long term. He goes for certainty as much as possible. Nothing is certain in life, but it is like you might get news about a job, you might get news about a house, you might get news about something materialistic, or even a study or a project that you're interested in. Because Pentacles, they are job, hobby and work and material. Perhaps you've bought a house with the money that you have in July, and got married, invest, because that's the Knight as well, invest for long term. But you have a disagreement or an argument with somebody about long term or about the investment, and you know, take care, don't argue, keep communicating. That's much better than actually arguing. This is upside down. So after rain, sunshine will come, and it will be all right. Just listen to your intuition, because you have the moon, and the moon means spiritual intuition. Listen to your gut feeling. There's something that might not be clear to you, and you didn't have all the information why you had the argument in August. So, you know, get all your information, like I said earlier on in the year. Get all the information before you say yes, or before you sign anything. And the moon is like the sun, it illuminates. It's a spotlight, it shows light on your path. And you know, anything that you didn't agree with or you were sad about because you've got the cross is of short duration. See it as a crossroad, another lesson learned. In October we have the Six of Pentacles. Perhaps you have borrowed money, or perhaps somebody has given you money, or perhaps you've lent money to somebody else. It doesn't matter which scenario. You see here a generous man full of abundance and giving to the third party. Perhaps somebody wanted to borrow money and asked you for a loan, and you didn't listen to your gut feeling and the warnings from the snake, because, you know, like I said, these two cards, this is sadness, this is not pure, it's negative, and you've got the clouds next to it. So somebody might not have been honest to you why they needed the money in the first place, or perhaps they didn't pay it back and you would like it back, and that's why you get a message not only in August but in April that something is not quite right, because you've got the swords here and you don't really know what to do about it. That's perhaps why you feel trapped in May and June. But anyway, don't worry, because what you have loaned, or what you have lent to somebody, you will get back, because you've got the sickle here, and the sickle means you've done with the past and you're harvesting. So perhaps the friendship, you will leave the friendship to the past and you will harvest. Or perhaps you were cut off from sharing money shared, and now it's time for you to harvest. It could also be that you've lent money and you're getting it back, but the friendship is cut. Or you have borrowed money and the friendship was cut because you couldn't pay it back before, and now you've harvested and you are able to pay it back. So, you know, it all depends. This is a general reading, so I can't say, well, you've lent money, you're going to get the money back, but the friendship is cut. It is all kinds of scenarios, and I'm trying to give you all all the scenarios that I can think and see. In November we have the Queen of Swords, and she is a very independent lady. She's the most independent queen of all the queens in the tarot, and she doesn't take crap. She cuts you away if she doesn't believe you, because she stands for loyalty, trust and honesty, justice. So perhaps you've lent some money to somebody else and you don't stand for it, and you want the money back because you need the money, and you don't stand for rubbish. You cut them off and you want the money. And perhaps it's somebody out of the past, because we've got the garden here, and that means reunion, parties, networking. So she might be, you might, no, you're Capricorn, you might ask a lady of justice, or a policewoman, or a debt collector, or somebody from an institution, because the swords are also from an institution. Sorry, the swords are also from an institution, like court, like the law. It could be a surgeon, because he uses knives. Could be a dentist, could be a butcher, somebody that has knowledge, wisdom, because the air signs are communication, and to communicate you need a good brain and be able to learn. So, you know, they're very swift in their word. They don't even have to be threatening, and they can sound threatening. They are quick with the tongue, and sometimes they don't realize how hurtful they can be, because they are so spontaneous in talking and doing things. They stand for quick action. So if you want a quick result, get somebody that can sell ice cube to Eskimos to get your money back. And perhaps you might meet somebody at a party in November that is an air sign, and the air signs are Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. So all in all, November is justice will be done, and you will make new friends, and you might even meet an old friend, perhaps from the time that you studied. Funny enough, is this is one of those things that I think is amazing. And next year, December, it's Christmas again, and we've got the Hierophant, and he represents the church, because we've got the church window in the back of him. He can delegate, he knows the letter of the law, he knows what is right and wrong, and he represents the father figure, an advisor, a judge, somebody well learned, also the priest. So if you need advice, you can always go to him as well, to an advisor like a judge. Perhaps it might be a woman or a man, because they're both here, the Queen of Swords and the Hierophant. Perhaps you might, through all the money that you've made this year, perhaps you might have gone to an advisor like a bank or a mortgage broker, because you would like to buy a house, since the house is on the Hierophant. and he represents the church, but it's the month of Christmas again, and so it is spiritual month, and I quite like it. That's why I like it that he appears in December. And I didn't sort the cards out, but perhaps you might be signing a contract, legal documents in December for a house. I think these readings are amazing. For the first half of the month, you have number 11, and you can see the hand. Isn't that amazing? And in the Dutch reading, this is the first time I've got it, the hand, and it means the strength, because all the aces and the Four of Cups have the hands reaching out of the clouds. Somebody will give you a hand, somebody will stretch out a hand. You are protected by the universe and the Almighty. You know, give us a hand, the English saying. So don't worry. The strength means that the lion, usually it's depicted with a beautiful woman stroking or strailing and taming the lion. So it means that you stand in your strength, because through calmness and love you've trained the lion to calm down and take it easy, step by step, sorting things out to get to the nitty and the gritty and know and seek advice. Hold on, I've got to take a swallow. I've done so many videos that I get a dry mouth now and again because of talking too much. Sorry. So strength is amazing, and you will be in your strength to open up that door, because you've got the key in your hands, and to free yourself and bring yourself back to a safe haven in May. And you've got a helping hand in March, so you don't have the sleepless nights. Hold on. Number 11. Strength. The meaning of strength in spirituality means self-control, courage, and versatile, and dominating, or dominion. Stop, look and listen prior to moving forward. Check your motives. All people are destined for love, bound by truth and motivated by pain. I don't agree with that. Nobody's motivated by pain. You just want to lock yourself away when you're in pain. You are only motivated, and I think I will alter this myself, because, and I won't write it down, I'll just say it every time when this stone comes up. It's the first time it's come up. But nobody's motivated through pain. We are all motivated through love and acceptance and creativity. When I have an idea, I get motivated. That's what motivates me. Positivity, not negativity. This stone suggests that you take an inventory prior to proceeding. That's what I hear and hear, and that is March and September. So, you know, take an inventory, get the information. Can you afford to start your own business? Can you trust it? Can you trust this person? Okay, now carry on. So this stone suggests that you take an inventory prior to proceeding. Have you been saying yes too much? What did I say? You acted too quick when you needed to say no. So being strong means you can also say no, because it takes a strong person to say no, and we call that in Dutch to give your borderlines, to say this is how far I go, I can't do anymore. Don't let anybody take you for a ride. and in the second half of the year you've got the Fool, and this is magic. There aren't 22 stones or cards in the big arcana, only 21, but this man has made it a naught because that is the Fool, and 22, and it is very significant. You've got the Fool. Don't be a fool. Don't do things in haste because they might be negative. Listen to your gut feeling and take your time and be steady, like the Knight of Pentacles. Go to an advisor for information and see whether it's lawful and wise. Okay, the Fool means in spirituality intuitive, original, spontaneous and present. All the things come from nothingness, and in the end nothingness is all that remains. The stone reminds us that it is the journey that's important. Could you possibly be taking things too seriously? Right, well, like I said, if you are too serious you don't have the fun. And she does, the Queen of Swords can come across as an icy person because she's independent and she has fought for where she is now and she wants to maintain it, and she does care. She has a big soppy heart and she does love and she does care, but she will protect. She's like a knight, but she's a woman, so she has to fight twice as hard to make people believe her. And don't things, you know, it's like the Gemini or the Libra or the Aquarians. They can say things and they can be sharp. They are on the ball, but they can also be sharp in a negative sense. So, you know, don't cut yourself off. And don't take things too seriously. Have the playfulness. Have the innocence. Take your time. You'll get there in the end. And you'll be at home and you'll be safe. Home and dry. Well, your color card is Glance. Shining. You know, discover the shine in you. And that's from blue to white because it looks like a waterfall. I'll show you again. Just looks like a waterfall, but the glance is like shining. I hope you can see it. It's Dutch, that one. It says glans. And we've got the angel card. And if you take your time and if you are sure of yourself and you get all the information, there won't be any problems and you'll have freedom. Don't cut any corners. That's what I'm getting to here. Don't cut any corners. Right. Shine is also 26, and 26 turns into an 8, and 8 is also the number of power. Shine. Shine will help you to transform and change and bring you to a better stand. Work with Shine whenever you want to clean. Well, when you clean, everything shines and it will gleam. Shine can help by healing in health problems. You know, if you've got health problems, if you feel depressed, get something positive, then you will shine. And with Shine, you're like a magnet, so you will attract. You'll be attractive to other people. You'll be prettier. And like I said, this is what the woman is thinking about. Perhaps that's why she's sleepless. She has sleepless nights, because in the beginning of the year you've got 3 women. It's quite overpowering and she might be worried, am I pretty enough? Am I shining enough? Am I intelligent enough? Beauty, sensuality, and shine. So if you want to shine and you want to be noticed, just use the blue, and that transforms into white foam like a shine. Polish yourself up. Just go and sit in a chair or lie on your bed, close your eyes, and take any color blue, like here, and like the Queen of Swords, and like the Nine of Pentacles. She's got a blue dress on. Think of blue and try to concentrate on blue. And the blue is the color of the swords, and you've got 2 sword cards here, and no, 3, and swords are also shiny. They can bling. You've got a dull sword and you've got a shiny sword, so bling out like the Queen of Swords and be the Queen and feel the Queen. I hope you've liked this reading, and I hope to see you back, Capricorn, in 2019. Thank you for joining me, and I wish you happy festivities. Cheerio!